Hi there, you're tuned into the Birth Whisperer, where you discover courage, calmness and confidence for giving birth. My name is Anna Wild. So I wonder if you've ever thought about how the time you spent inside your mother's womb affected your life. And how does your baby's time inside you affect how their life unfolds? It is a fascinating area of learning and one that can deeply affect how you parent your child from the time of conception to the time of birth. Julie Gerland is a pioneer in the field of consciousness and early parenting. She is the founder and director of the Holistic Parenting Program. This program educates and empowers future parents from preconception preparation to after birth. She is a co-author, an international presenter, workshop leader and professional trainer. She currently represents OMEAP, which is the World Organization of Prenatal Education Associations, and this is a non-government organization with special consultative status with the United Nations Economic and Social Council. I am so pleased to be talking with Julie today. Great. So welcome, Julie. It is so great to have you here today, and I'm so excited to be talking with you all the way from New Zealand to France through the magic of Skype. Julie, I just want to dive right in to your area of speciality. And you've said that the time in the womb really affects our future physical and emotional health, our intelligence and our creativity. What do we already know about how life in the womb affects life after the womb?
Wow. Well, that's a very interesting and very important question. I'm so pleased you asked it. Yes, what do we know? We've known now for well over 30 years that what the mother lives during pregnancy, the baby's living too. So I think that is really the first thing that everybody should know. We used to think that a baby was in a sac protected and just living in an isolation tank. So this now is a myth. We know that the mother's emotions affect her hormones, and cortisol, stress hormones, catecholamines actually pass through the placenta barrier, and the baby can be bathed for a long time in these hormones, which is going to have an effect on the baby's stress response. So the opposite is also true, that if a mother is bathed in loving feelings, she's creating her own oxytocin, she's creating her own endorphins, which, yes, is possible. This also will affect the baby, and the baby ends up growing, developing in a cocktail of love. And we all want to feel loved. We all need to feel loved. And when a mother is producing these endorphins and oxytocin, that means she's happy, she's relaxed, she's in love with her baby. What's going to happen is that there's more oxygen arriving for her baby, there's more room because she's less stressed and tensed and contracted. There's a greater uptake of nutriments, so the baby is getting what it really needs to develop. And all round, the baby gets this sensation that it is developing in a loving world, a loving environment. And so if you get a baby that has had mostly this during the 9 months, this baby is happy, is relaxed, is confident, that its needs are being satisfied and met, that it is loved, it is taken care of. And of course, this reflects in everything. It reflects in the baby's health, it reflects in the baby's happiness, the baby's trust. And when we're not continually in fight and flight, protecting because we anticipate that something is going to happen to us that's not very nice, then the energy becomes available for creativity and for intelligence. Because if you're in fight and flight and stress, then your energy goes to feed the hindbrain, that reptilian brain that is just going to react in an unthought through way very often to save your life, to protect yourself. But when you're in love, feeling confident, the energy goes to feed your creativity centers, your intelligence. You end up thinking better. You end up being more creative. You find solutions for things. And this is what we need now. So there's overwhelming evidence to show that physical health, emotional health, and intelligence, the brain, 80% of the brain is being developed. And particularly in the first few weeks after conception, and most mothers don't even know they're pregnant at that time. So how important to have this knowledge and be living this lovely, beautiful, loving, relaxed, happy life even before conceiving.
I know that many people watching this, mothers watching this, will maybe be pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant and might suddenly think, oh gosh, I've had such a stressful time, I've had all of these difficult emotions come up, it's been a really difficult time in my life, my poor baby is unprotected in the womb and experiencing all these stressful emotions, what can I do?
Well, that of course happens, and it happens to everybody. So what can you do? Well, two things. One is to really understand that we know now that we are not determined by our hormones. We determine our hormones. So if we know that we can secrete at will, within seconds, oxytocin, which is the love hormone, and endorphins, which are 200 times the power of morphine, you have got, every mother should have this understanding and know how to do it. It's not about the head. It's not about comparing all these things and racing around, and I read this and I read that, and that gets us stressed. What is it about? It's about looking at your partner in the eyes, or connecting with your baby and saying, it's about love. I love you. I care about you. I want you. You're making my life so special. You know, thank you for being in my life. And if the parents that I work with, they're usually so stressed thinking, well, what color should we do the baby's room and what should this and that they forget to look at each other in the eyes and feel that loving connection. And it just melts away the stress. For me, this is really important, that if couples are not doing this regularly, having like little love breaks, you know, throughout the day, or, you know, when they are together, where nothing else matters but just looking at each other in the eyes and feeling, and then maybe having a big hug, appreciating each other. Why is this so important? Because this is what the baby wants. The baby doesn't really care if it's got a brand new cot or a painted bedroom. The baby wants the mother and father's quality time, to be looked in the eyes, to feel that bonding, to feel that connection, to say, you exist. And I'm here to support you. I'm here to give you what you need so that you can blossom in your life. I mean, wouldn't we all like that?
That's right. And I guess when we're bathed in that hormonal cocktail of love and appreciation, then it changes how we respond to the world.
Completely.
What I'm wondering, Julie, is perhaps for a single mother or a mother in the midst of a busy, stressful day, can you name a technique or a skill? What can women do when they suddenly realize that they're feeling fearful or anxious or stressful in that moment and they might not have someone with them?
Well, one thing is very, very easy is to stop. Stop what you're doing. Now, in the olden days, they used to say and count to 10, remember? If you're angry or whatever. Now we can say, stop what you're doing. Feel the energy in your heart and appreciate something. Take a deep breath and appreciate something that you have in your life. And send your love to someone or something, whether it's the sun, whether it's God, whether it's your husband, whether it's the baby, someone or something. Once you're sending your love consciously, then you are creating oxytocin. And you feel connected, so you're no longer alone. So we often with single mothers, you know, they say, well, you know, you don't know what it's like being on your own, you know, to bring up this baby. Of course, nature has designed that there would be two to bring up the baby. So it's obviously double the work. And so they need to feel that they're loved and supported. And they often feel this has got to come from the outside. But when we have got this understanding that we create the oxytocin, we can create that bonding feeling ourselves. They, in those moments of feeling a bit lonely, feeling a bit overwhelmed, feeling stressed, feeling frightened, stop, take a few deep breaths, and send out your appreciation to something, to someone. And immediately you feel you're not alone. Somebody is there. And you start loving. You're not asking to be loved. You start the loving. And then usually what happens is the mother will feel this rush of love for her baby. And then she's in that bonding, in that loving. And then she realizes the two of you are together. And everything becomes easier. So it really is simple. But every mother should be shown how to do this and encouraged to do it.
That's lovely. That's a great point, Julie, using gratitude to really change how you're feeling on all levels and change the hormones in your body and how you're connecting to baby. What I'm wondering is, last year you spent the entire year traveling the world talking with people about the importance of the prenatal period in your role as the director of the World Organization of Prenatal Education Associations. And I know that most parents are really keen to know. You've mentioned a lot of things already about how they can best support their baby to be a happy and healthy human being. Is there anything else that you learnt that you really want to transmit to parents all over the world about what they can do?
Well, one of the things that I did learn is that wherever you are mothers. And whether it was in India, whether it was in Africa, whether it was in China, is that mothers need support. Fathers need support. And they need to realize that what they're doing has huge significance. And that we're not alone. That there are mothers all over the world, fathers all over the world. You know, we're living in times which are really crucial on this planet. And spending much time at the UN, we hear about this. You know, it's really, really a highly challenging time. And when the mothers start to feel connected, that they're not on their own, they're connected with mothers everywhere, and that they have this real feeling that they want the best for their child, not only as the child is developing, but they want the best world for the child. So for parents to feel that they can be engaged in creating this world that we want for the future generations, I think is so empowering that very often parents think, oh, well, you know, there's nothing we can do. And yet it's deep embedded in both a mother and a father to want to create the best for their children. So to bring this onto a global level is for parents to say, hey, I can become really involved and contribute my love. So it doesn't really matter what you can or can't do. If you're a parent, you can contribute simply because you want the best for your child and for all the children. So this is something that I was deeply touched by. There's sometimes a feeling of helplessness. And sometimes when we were able to talk with these people, oftentimes this change from feeling helpless to feeling empowered. Hey, what I'm doing here in my home, you know, if I'm cooking or if I'm working and bringing home money and supporting my child in the best way I know how, this is contributing massively to a better society and a better world. And how could I perhaps do a bit more? So this has really encouraged me, not that I needed that much more encouragement. This is a passion of mine for the last over 30 years. But now it's really time. It's really time to get parents to change the world. And so I would encourage every parent, wherever they are, to say, first of all, I'm not alone. I'm connected with all the parents around the world who want a better society for their children. I am able to give the children who are entrusted in my care, in my family, my love, and never to undervalue that, never. That is what we as a human being need. That's what the world, you know the song, All We Need Is Love, da, 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 da. You know, sing it to yourself, because this is what we need. And this is what the children of the world need. This is what the leaders of the world need, is to bring in love. And mothers and fathers can do it. They're the ones. So bringing this to the United Nations and taking it a little bit removed from people who are perhaps a little bit invested in their own importance and their own careers, to say, well, hey, well, wait a minute, this is really about us all as a human family, and it's about love. You know, it's not really about economics, it's not really about politics, it's about love.
Julie, I sometimes wonder if leaders of the world, when they make unskillful decisions and are not really caring for people and mothers and families and babies, perhaps they weren't really loved when they were in the womb and when they were born and when they were tiny babies and young children. And I know this connects in with one of the things that you've talked about, that how we respond and how our awareness is in response to the baby in the womb in that very early time does impact world peace. Can you very briefly explain a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. As we see on the world stage, the childhood trauma, birth trauma, prenatal trauma being played out in a way that obviously to most of us is totally unacceptable. So how are we going to get different nations, different cultures to sit around a peace table and come up with a peaceful solution, is when we have peaceful human beings. And so we need to now parent for peace. And we know that. We know that when you feel safe, when you feel loved, and again, you're secreting your own oxytocin, your love hormones, your well-being hormones, well, you don't need to lash out. You know, you don't need to be greedy. You don't need to muscle your way forward and say, well, me, that's only enough for me. You don't have short-term goals of, you know, I've just got to eat as much on the table because there'll be nothing left for tomorrow. You know, that's not normal behavior. So it's exactly the same thing as we see in our villages and our towns is being played out on the big scale, on the big scale. So if we are to have a humanity at all, and unfortunately that's where we're at today, the human species is really, really in danger, even though there are more and more people. Again, it comes back to parenting, and it comes back to, during the 9 months of pregnancy, this is when the baby is being hardwired for peace. So what mothers and fathers can do is be aware of that and say to their child, they can communicate with their baby lovingly, talk to the baby, sing to the baby, imagine, use the positive creation of imagination to say, oh, my baby's just going to have a really healthy body and, you know, strong bones and teeth and beautiful eyes that can see. And, you know, all the imagination gets imprinted into the subconscious and hardwires the baby. So, of course, my baby's going to be peaceful. And peaceful doesn't mean weak. Peaceful means very strong, because you're not going to be ruffled by the others around you. And you're going to stay in your center. And, you know, really peaceful human beings don't get bullied. They just don't. So this is a question that comes up often for me. You know, well, we can't have everybody just being all sissy and peaceful because, you know, they'll just get invaded and, you know, bullied at school, etc. This we know is really not true. Is that somebody who is strong in love, in peace, doesn't get bullied. The bullies go to those who are a victim and frightened, and exactly like dogs. You know, if you stand up calm and strong in front of a dog, it'll stop barking. But if you start to be, frightened and a victim, and the dog will come running after you, well, it's exactly the same for humans. So parents are the architects of their child's character, and therefore the architects of the world. I mean, how huge is that? So we need to, the mother who has been, I think, downtrodden for too long, she doesn't value herself. She says, oh, well, I'm a nothing, I'm just a mother. It's time for a big wake up. It's time for mothers to not only step into their responsibility, but to be fully supported by countries, by all societies, by men, their partners, their sons, to say, wow, look what my mother has done for me. And encourage mothers to really love their children and support them, give them financial help, take their worries away from them, especially during this time. So we are advocating for huge governmental resources to go towards preconception programs so that parents can be given the support and the education and the encouragement that what they need before conceiving. And then all through pregnancy and up to the age of 2, parents need maximum support to do the job that they are really here to do.
Julie, thank you so much for bringing things back to the heart of the matter. You've really named what we need to hear about honouring mothers and that precious time when so much is conditioned and created in that being for the future. So much gratitude and wonderful to talk with you.
Thank you so much, Anna, and all the best for your work. It's a fantastic job that you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. If you've discovered something new, please share your learning. Make a comment, send this link to your friends and post it on Facebook. Sign up for more birth wisdom at thebirthwhisperer.com because our future is calling for parents and babies who feel honoured, loved and supported. You are part of this.